Okay, I'm
Hmm.
gonna drop a
Gonna drop.
I'm gonna drop a meme also into our whimsical board, and I'm just gonna show it to you.
Okay, I'll follow you. Just to sort a couple of things. Where else? And then good. Are you on? Oh, you're not on Whimsical. I'm not sure you're
Multiple
logged
paths
in.
and crumbs. Oh no, maybe I'm in the wrong one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Multiple selectable bulk actions. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So drop your meme.
Selectable bulk actions. Whoops. Glad we figured that out. Okay, I'm just gonna drop this meme.
If bears are scapular, how do you explain that?
How do you explain that?
Wow, I never thought it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. And you know what's scaring me the most is it's bears. I don't care about spiders or snakes or bungee jumping or bears. I watch way too much videos of bears. And even sharks, I will be okay to swim with sharks, well, with some equipment. But bears, I'm scared.
Okay. Well, the thing is, they love honey. They love berries. But human flesh, I mean, nothing beats it, right?
What? Yeah, I know.
Yum.
That's why internet was invented. But yeah, polar bear, if they see you and they kind of are just a little bit hungry, your lunch.
Yeah.
Your lunch.
Your lunch. But you know what? I mean, humans have really screwed over the polar bear hard. So I don't know. Do we blame the polar bear for that? I'm like, also, it's a very glorious way to go, right? Getting eaten by a bear.
It is.
I mean, it's intense.
Have you seen the trailer of Cocaine Bear? You know that?
No, I haven't. I was like, I don't want to know about this.
Oh no, let me copy paste you something. So there is a real bear that just found cocaine in the middle of the forest.
Yeah.
And now they are doing, a movie about it. So it's a cocaine bear. And when you look at the trailer, you'll say, oh yeah. Part of me is, I'm scared, even if it doesn't, but a bear just, found a big bag of cocaine, just sniff it all, and then went on a rampage and killing everyone. So the trailer is just, it's way too much. It's just too much.
It's kind of, it's really serving that like snakes on a plane energy.
And
but
the
reality.
the Meg also from a shark.
Yep. The tornado with the, what was it? Shark tornado thing?
Shark tornado, yeah.
Something, yeah.
I mean, they did 7 of them, I think, something like that.
Hey, was it Samuel the whole time?
I'm not sure. I didn't watch it because.
Well, he was. You know what? I think it's worth a watch.
Oh, yeah.
I love cheese. I do love the cheesy. I went to that new movie, Megan. Wait, was it called Megan? Yeah, the robot girl.
Okay.
Megan?
Yeah.
Yes, it's called Megan.
That's cheesy, right?
It was fromage extraordinaire. It was like the just wild plot holes and stuff was so fun. I loved it. I was like, this was great. You guys got to make another one. And I was like, I want to write a blog post all about the plot holes and like the weird things in this movie because it was just so great and funny. But then I was like, where do I put that? I don't.
Well, talking about plot holes, let's look at the problem of the week. Yeah, we have a problem of the week from Samuel B. SB for his friends. So Sam will be 5 days ago. Oh, 5 days ago. I think we'll have fun with this one. I think we can even go crazy with this one. So,
Okay.
title multiple selectable bulk actions. Just that. Thank you. That's smell good. A great title. Multiple selectable bulk actions. Yeah, I feel like a movie trailer. In a world where you have multiple selectable bulk actions. Yeah. So I have a web app LMS. LMS is for learning management system, right? Oh
Yep.
yeah. So for school or for people giving training, so I have a web app in which there's a page that allows teachers to monitor progress on ongoing exams. Great. The page displays a table with data about a table about all students that are participating in the exam and their progress and blah, blah, blah. In this page, a teacher can select some of the students from the table and apply actions to them. Okay. Such as blah, 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 blah. So there's multiples. Okay. They can also close an exam. Okay. So multiple actions, selecting rows, and actions. But there's a problem, I hope. As you can see, there's a button for each one of the actions. So the issue is depending on the screen width. Oh yeah, not all action will fit on the same line. Additionally, if I ever had to add more actions, I might have a problem. Okay. To reopen the exam. Okay. So what would be the best way to feature these bulk actions in a way that bears for real? Okay. We just talked about bears 5 minutes ago. Low cognitive load that the user and communicate what the actions are. As an inside, okay, they will also like to somehow fit a few stats. Okay. I think the thing I'm concerned with is that adding these cards in a row just below the one at the top with the actions button will show less rows in the table. Okay, that's something else. Hidden possibly useful information for user. Okay, but maybe the user doesn't need to have access to all that information at once. Maybe. This is what it will look like adding these stats card on the row below the actions button. Okay, so action buttons on top of that table. And maybe there's too much. Yeah, there's a lot of things we can do in it. So what's the problem from your user point of view, Kira, you think?
Well, we know as a teacher.
Oh, we are the person.
We know who we are.
Yeah.
That's a great first step. So let me just start writing that.
Yep.
I need to fill out a form so that I have a fun day. Just kidding. Sorry, I'm trolling you, bud. It's Friday. I'm getting wild. I've been saying bad jokes all day, and I'm not going to stop now. Okay, so I'm a teacher with an LMS system. So what they're trying to do is apply different things to multiple students at once. So that they can get through the process of an exam being administered and
or whatever.
Yeah. And I think
I feel the problem is choosing the right action for the right tasks. Because in the future, they may have a lot of actions. I think that's what the problem is. At the beginning, you have just, close or undo turning or something like that. And it's slowly getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So our goal, maybe I'm proposing is, as a teacher, I don't want to say quickly, but scanning, but I have to choose the right action for what I have to do without being confused or without searching too much or
what about what about kind of zeroing in on this idea of a predictable way? Because if we're going to have these actions are going to really grow, you want to know that like I just go to one spot to get these
Mm,
to like apply something, right?
mm.
So the predictability of that, like it's all going to be in this like certain place or in this certain way. That could be one way to kind of frame it, because I want to get the scalability part of it into the problem, because that is a key component, I think, of the problem.
Yeah, predictable way, and it could be. I don't know what I like between predictable way or between matter. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, because predictable can open a door of many things, and this is where we can quickly go to a question and answers. So, predictable manner or predictable ways, whatever. That yeah, okay. Let's start having post it now, because I have more question about what it means to do something predictable. But so that's true.
Yes,
What's the benefit of this? Yeah, sorry, it's Friday.
yes,
And
it
we
is
talked
Friday.
about beers, and now I'm afraid I just want to run.
You're too afraid. You might be too afraid to
I'm-
do UX right now.
so I can complete my workflow.
Sorry.
But there's something here. I don't want to jump to the solution. That's something. Is predictable manner, so I can complete my workflow. There's something about teachers have access to a ton of tools, too much even, and they are not consistent, and they are not well done. By the way, I don't know why education tools are not the best.
Are you talking bad about Moodle? How dare you?
We do have the same thing, same problem in Quebec. We have a ton of portals for education. It's what, yeah. So I complete my workflow.
Well, maybe I want to apply multiple actions to students so that I can. Oh no, I was going to try to put the predictable manner part in the last part, but that's not cool.
Do you think they are using this tool every day? Do you think it's something that they are used to, or are they
Probably. I
probably?
would imagine like they would. I think this is pretty platformish, most of these learning tools. I don't think that but I could completely be wrong and totally off. But they seem to be all doing a platform level features, I feel like.
Hmm.
Unless there's like student in the classroom experience kind of stuff. Maybe that's like separate. I don't know.
So what
Worth
would be?
digging into.
Oh yeah, and workflow is. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. And workflow, we
So
don't know exactly what it is. The goal is not just to let's go to the next task. So what's the workflow? We don't know, but to complete or pursue or go on or yeah, complete. Complete is good. Okay.
okay.
Yeah,
So
let's go with that. It's a problem student I like. It's small enough so we can have impact, but large enough so we can play with it, innovate a little bit. Yeah, it's all about the user. That's not about the problem of the UI. It's not about this,
it's not about you, Samuel, but you are very important.
and it's not about your UI, Samuel. It's not about how I can fit more button in a screen. That's
How can I
never
have
a problem.
more buttons in the screen? Because that actually is a problem statement for a designer.
For a designer, absolutely, but it's not a
For a
problem.
developer.
You can add a lot of buttons if you want to. It's okay. So one question for me is, what too much action mean? Maybe if you have way too much actions. Of course, one thing I think we don't know is because we didn't do any user research. We don't know anything. We don't know what's the great default or what's the main action. We don't know that. So I would say I would love to assume that we don't know and Samuel don't know, and we have to deal with it. We don't know the most common actions.
And we don't know how big it's going to grow.
And
right? But we do know it is going to grow. I think that's an important thing to state.
You said something in the prompt statement in a predictable manner. Feel like it would be great. I'm about to solutionize this, but as we don't know, why not let the teacher customize their own workflow?
That's wild.
Well, that's one of my rationale. You don't know. There's a lot of teachers will be kind of the big thing to find out what's the most common action, and you don't know because it will grow maybe somehow. So why not, why not take this approach of, giving a default, but letting them creating their own workflow, their own most common action, because you don't know.
So like a little bit of flexibility kind of thing.
Is it flexibility or modularity, by the way, or customization?
I don't know. It kind of depends on the feature itself, but the idea of like it can work for lots of situations.
There's a difference between keeping the UI modular and flexible and giving to the user a way to
a lot of control. Getting wild here.
The most. It's true. We have an article about the data table, and I have to say it's quite a good one. It's a kind of that we updated recently. And not me, no, I'm not saying that, but a lot of people on the internet, I'll say that. I think it's a Bible. You kind of need it. If you're doing a data table and you're not reading article, shame on you. Shame on you.
Bad baby. Shame on you.
And it's like it updated like in 2023, not in 2016. It's for today, whatever.
Absolutely. We're always adding to it, adding more juicy stuff.
Always.
So it just got me thinking about like table actions and batch actions in general. And so I thought this might be a nice resource for people to peruse if they're getting a bit curious about that. Yeah, batch actions. I think that will definitely be our approach, right? And I know that we kind of need to solve for the page itself. One thing I find interesting about this table is that, at least from what we can see, I do see that we have a horizontal scroll, but I can't actually tell what the end of these rows look like. And so I can't tell if you can apply an action directly to a row without doing a selection over on this checkbox or not. So I wouldn't mind sussing out that individual action versus multi actions or batch actions. They're kind of different.
It's true. Interesting. So let's think about it. So batch action versus individual row action. Yeah, that's one consideration. What else? We'll not talk about sorting, filtering, or anything else right now, just the action, because we can be there for the whole weekend if we want to.
It's true. But okay, here's my question for you, because Samuel is also like, they're telling me to slap these numbers on the top, which makes me think about we have to integrate the overall layout into how we solve this problem, right?
Well, what I feel, and let's talk about it a little bit, is is you have a stakeholder saying, I would love to have stats. And we'll have to have this, and that. And when they are looking at it, they say, that's above the fold, blah, 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 blah. And what I mean is maybe his question is around, will it disrupt the navigation if it's below the actions? So we could design for it, for sure. But one of the big questions for what I see is, if it's slowly, of course, also in the future growing, you have a lot more cards, and you have 3 right now, and people look at them and say, oh, cool, I can add this insights and this that I input in this and this and this. And now your data table and your action are far away from each other. Can I, prepare, the feel for that? So yeah, you're right. In fact, let's design for it so it's scalable. You're right. Right.
Okay, so that's our lens for what we're doing on this dev problem of the week. Scalable stuff. How do we do that?
Trade and navigation.
Oh, okay. So let's start wireframing. Let's get in there. Okay, where's the rave music though?
Oh, let's put something.
We're just gonna do a dance party and then totally forget about what we're doing.
That's it. We're done. No, let's build it.
Yeah, we need to build all the individual elements of this. I'm just gonna do a screenshot closer to our wireframe.
Thank you.
Just so it's easier to reference. Bam. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's good TV.
This is good TV. Yeah, it's solid. It can't be denied at this point.
Cards.
I was actually calling Loom Videos TV earlier. I'm like, we made TV for the devs to watch. So they don't even have to read.
UX flicks.
Yeah. Just for the nerdiest nerds.
What's the difference between a nerd and a geek, by the way? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm not
Let me Google
100% sure.
that. Difference between.
I think I looked it up once and I was like, I don't agree.
So geeks are collections oriented, gathering facts and mementos related for their subjects of interest. They're obsessed with the newest, coolest, trendiest things that their subject has to offer. A nerd is just a studious intellectual, all too again. Okay, so a nerd is you love one thing, a field, and you go deep. A geek is more, obsessed with something that is cool, new and trendy. You're right. I'm not even.
I'm not confident on these definitions.
A nerd is a socially awkward person, but intelligent in the same obsessed with a non-social hobby or pursuit. A geek is a digital technology expert or enthusiast. Well, I feel like, can I be a geek and a nerd at the same time? Is it possible on the same subject?
Yes.
Be socially awkward but enthusiastic about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah, I just needed your permission.
We're saying yes to that.
Okay, where are we? Checkbox. Oh, no, orange. Oh, yeah. We have that, and we have this, and we have stuff, and we have background.
I started to change the layout already, Benoit.
Let me check what you did. I'm pretty sure I agree with it. But
Well, it's your favorite pattern, so I think you probably should agree with it. But
it's my favorite pattern in table.
Lead space.
Oh, lead space. Yeah, it's one of my best one. Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. So what you did here, lead space. I love the lead space for many reasons because it's good for, well, it's beautiful first. You can make it beautiful. It's taking space, and you can breathe, and you have the title, you have the breadcrumb, you have your navigation, you have your summary, what's happening here. You don't have to go too deep. You can just look at it, and you have kind of I'm home. Okay, I know what's happening right now. And that's true that having cards there, it's not a bad thing because it's a snapshot of the current page, the current state of things.
Mm-hmm.
That's smart. And it's a mini dashboard inside the page. It's a quick glance of what's happening down there. And it can be scalable. You can have an expanded lead space if you want to. It's not impossible to do that. You can have an expandable lead space where you can put an AI widget. Oh, sorry. But yeah. That's great. I love it. And just below you okay, so I'm removing the cards then. So that's making things way easier because now that's business at the front, party in the back.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I couldn't have
like
said
a
it
good
better
mullet.
myself, but
A mullet is exactly that, business at the front and party at the back.
exactly. They're having a moment. They're having a resurgence.
Yeah.
And for some reason I'm fine with it. But I'm sort of mullet adjacent myself, so probably can't be trusted.
Okay. Okay, now let's talk about actions. So batch action versus individual action. Just so, and then we can talk about scaling all of this. So that's true. I don't see a lot of individual action, and this can be interesting. So you could scroll horizontally. So I'm jumping short here. Normally, I see the action at the end of the row. Not the beginning, at the end of a row. But I feel what Simon is giving us could be an infinite, amount of columns, and it can go forever. And just having the conversation with everyone at school about what columns should be there or not could be a nightmare. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to open the Spender box. But
Yeah, I totally see what you mean.
I wouldn't want to do that in university or school. What is the column that should be there? And most of the teacher will say everyone, every column.
Yeah, come on.
So if you put the column, the action, could be sticky last column action maybe. Yeah.
You could potentially sort of contain it outside of the row. Which is kind of, I have actually done that with tables before for certain use cases where you don't actually contain the thing in the row. Like a little plus button, for example, or like a print this one, or I don't know. So that would, it's definitely a Good question.
Let's design it just for fun.
Okay.
Because it has to be scalable, so we don't know. And so action could be action here. And let's say it's come on top of this like that. And let's change just the color of it just a little and do something like, oh no, I cannot multi-select.
Oh, really?
Too bad. And the action could be at the end of the row, but can be sticky on top of it. And so you can scroll infinitely. And then you can have a couple of action. And well, we will have the same problems, action 1, action 2, action 3. But here, yeah, exactly.
Whoops. You can multi-select. I accidentally had two selected.
How you did that?
I don't know. Let me just see. Okay, so I'm clicking my cursor in, and
I see.
it worked. Okay.
Can
cool.
you align them to the left, the right? I mean,
I think. Let's see. So even though it's in cursor mode, it's still letting me, but you can't see it like that, right? Oh, to the left?
No, to the right.
Oh, to the right.
It's possible.
Oh, yeah, here. Oh,
good. Okay. So it could be like that, and you can have a main action. I would not have more than 1 or 2 main action here. So
undo or whatever. So this actual text of this action would say undo.
Is
it would be a direct one, or are you saying that this would be the title of this?
No, it will be 1, and then you have an overflow menu. How I call it? An overflow menu where you can have more than 1 action. So we are not talking about what would be the action right now. We're just having fun. Undo, turn in. Yeah, we'll just make it just a little bit smaller. Good. Just because I don't want to play with it. And then, yeah, exactly. You just have to remove.
I'm just trying to make a little fake overflow menu out of this table component, but I don't know how to reduce the number of columns in it. How do you do that?
You're okay. You're right.
Or the number of rows in it. I'm just going to make one maybe from scratch.
Oh, I'm okay. I'll move it. Delete rows. There it is.
Oh, cool. Nice. So we got an overflow menu.
Yeah.
Bon. Beautiful.
So an overflow menu. So and again, we're not talking about what should be there right now. Just we fixed one problem. I think is individual actions. And then we're not talking about batch action, but individual action. So the rationale here is you have 1 or 2 action maximum. It's sticky on top of the table, and then for all other actions, you click on the overflow menu, and you have all of them. Great, that's what.
100%.
So if I'm following you, why not having the same pattern? Let's have this consistency somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I think an interesting table view dynamic that you see. You see it all over enterprise products, but you see this thing where every action is equal. And so you end up with sort of these button graveyards in a way where there's 12 of these, right? And they're all ranked to equal importance. And so, that's the double-edged sword of adding new features and new functionality, right?
Absolutely.
So that's the thing. So prioritization would be a question for what about these actions, I think.
Like we said, yeah, absolutely. We should have, any kind of UX research where you can know which action is the most common actions and do that. Absolutely. But one of our approach is, let's say that we will never know. Let's say if it's too complicated to know that. But for sure, it should be an exercise to think about what would be the the couple of action we have to put first, and then use an overflow in a row and on top, consistency, and you have your solution. But now I want to introduce something else, just go a little bit more deep with that. Because our problem is to, let's go see the problem again, is to apply multiple action to a predictable manner. And so I can complete my workflow. And we talked about customization. And I'm curious about, can we provide the teacher, the user, a way to choose what are the main actions and to save it? Would it be a good thing to do? Yeah. What do you think?
Potentially. I mean, when you get to the point of assuming this is a daily tool, maybe that you're spending a significant amount of time on, that's when the conversations about customizing your view or optimizing for power users and those kind of questions become really super relevant, I think, because you're trying even like microseconds that you can save for people or fit into their way of interacting with the machine can have a huge impact. So assuming those things, it's not the craziest idea in the world to customize your view a little bit.
And I found it's the easy way to not do user research in a way.
Well, when you have like very variable access to people and you have a weird small user group that's like very specific, but your actual user group is way more diverse. It's a thing.
It's a thing. It can be hard, and maybe you don't have the time, you don't have access to your user. They're very wide, like a training platform. Maybe creating a default and letting people change the default, go to their own. It's not everyone that will do that, but for people who want to be very quick about it, efficient about it, having a way where you click on it and you have a model and you say, this is my 3 mains action, for example, my main action, whatever it is, and save it and switch between the default and we maybe don't have to design it. But this feature could, solve a lot of headache because you're answering the stakeholders who say, well, it's not this button for me, it's this one. Well,
absolutely.
You can now.
Yeah. And just to add to the kind of, our goal as well around scalability, the whole thing around batch actions in general is that you want to apply something to like a lot of people, do it really fast. So I would also remind our buddy Samuel here and anybody who's curious and watching this around keyboard actions. So it's not always possible to get, super intuitive hotkeys in your product. Like there's some constraints there, probably technically, but I saw that there was like undo, for example, was one of the actions, and I was like, okay, we gotta like do that with the keyboard for sure. And any kind of shortcuts and hotkeys would be kind of awesome for this.
Absolutely. Can we add a little button to our helpful button somewhere for all of this?
Maybe we could do like, I've seen the discoverability kind of experimented with just typography. I don't know. Command. Sorry. Do we have, what is the action for shift? Or what's the icon for shift?
Well, it depends if you're on, oh no, it's the same thing. There's a character, let me.
Like an arrow, funny. Anyways, I'll just pretend it's like a slash, actually. I'll just do it with typography. /C. Oh no, it actually is functional.
There it is. Have fun with it.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So I'm just gonna like pretend that there's like a shift C. There we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, nice. Good job.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh,
that's what I was doing. Yeah, I was just playing with the type.
Wow. Of course. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
So that's the meaning, that's the meaning of, sorry, switching this up. Yeah, predictable manner. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's like you're always trying to design for the different levels of um, awareness or power useriness with people. So um, assume that they're going to advance in how they use your thing from a newbie to someone who's serious about it, especially in enterprise software.
Absolutely. The thing we didn't touch is when we are selecting in multi rows and how you can have this system feedback. We could again spend another 15 minutes just on this, but I'm curious about, Samuel. Just think about it. How you can give back, how you can give feedback when you're selecting rows, and just selecting them is not enough. I think there's more, and you can use toast or whatever. There's not toast. Maybe there's, well, there's multiple ways to do that. You have toast on the bottom, how many you select, and you can select them all, whatever. But think about the feedback for batch actions. Help them a little bit, because maybe you have a lot of pages. So if you're in page 8, you want to know how many you selected and all. So yeah, that would be also my thing.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. So yeah, let's summarize this problem. I think it's good.
Yeah, I think we're pretty happy.
Yeah, I'll leave you to
Cool.
it.
All right. Hi, Samuel. Samuel B. How's it going? So you are struggling with the problem around multiple selectable bulk actions in your LMS. So Samuel wrote into Stack Exchange about this problem, basically where we've got teachers who are using their LMS to basically apply actions to students as they're going through a midterm process, midterm taking process. On top of that, Samuel's also got to deal with some stats at the top of the screen. So we want to help these bulk actions be as efficient and usable as possible. So to start with, we looked at the problem statement and formulated it around the user. So as a teacher of using an LMS system, I want to apply multiple actions to students in a predictable manner so that I can complete my workflow. So when we got a bit oriented with this problem, we just started off by discussing our assumptions, design rationale, questions, approach. So, how many actions are too many actions? That's part of the issue we want to deal with. We don't know what the most common actions are necessarily. So making that hierarchical decision is really hard to do / impossible to do right now. We don't know how big or how many actions will be in the future, but we do know it's going to grow. So we wanted to think about how do we make this thing sort of have this modularity or flexibility about it so that given that lack of information, we can create something that's usable for everyone that's using it. So we were thinking, okay, we're going to let the user control some aspect of this UI to make it really efficient for them. And we know that we knew that we wanted to work out the problem of batch actions versus individual row actions as well. Both of these things need to be really efficient, predictable, and easy to use. So we brought up our beautiful article on data tables. Just as a reminder, you can nerd out or geek out on this as you feel, but we do talk about actions a little bit in that article to get you oriented. And we came up with an idea for a solution that you can definitely user test if you can, hopefully. So to begin with, we decided to kind of get away from this idea of having tiles and things and buttons and all sorts of things within your sort of workspace, I guess you could look at it, by creating visual delineation of the topic of the page and containing it all together. So we're calling this the lead space at the top of the screen, which basically is just orients you to like what the deal is with this screen. So these stats, they can definitely grow. They can be oriented. They could be oriented or laid out in a different way, but they're put at the top because it orients you to this, I guess, workspace, you could call it. Then we dug in a little bit to the table and the actual meat of the page, and we looked at a couple of different solutions that you could apply. So the first one is around individual actions. So we have actions being applied to the rows using a overflow menu here. And potentially, if you did know or understand a bit more about more common actions, you could actually bring those to the forefront as well. Here with actions, you want to be always really careful with rows because they can get full really fast. So the prioritization, if you can do it, is extremely important for that situation. And then we talked about an overflow menu just applied to the batch actions themselves. So we have, this dynamic of selecting down the row and then executing the action based on this predictable place on the screen that you kind of always go to. And so this is our overflow menu here. And we brought up the idea of basically allowing users, allowing teachers to modify their view so that they could add their own buttons into this row, the ones that they use the most. This is an approach that we often take in enterprise when we have sporadic access to users, and it can be kind of difficult to get all of those use cases and all of those preferences. So we create a flexible feature and allow more control. And in the case that these sort of features get used, that's typically a really good sign that people want more control and they're using your software in a meaningful way. So the kind of cherry on top that we came up with as well, in the spirit of scaling and batch actions, we've got keyboard actions. Can't forget about those. So people want to move really fast through this. If they're using it every day, they're going to get the keyboard actions kind of down pat. And it's just a really zero UI way to make things really expedient for people.
Yeah.
That's it.
So go read our data table article. We have a good one, and we have a couple of great articles. But if you read it, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to use a bulk of design technique for your data table very soon. So go read it, subscribe. We'll send you more articles soon. We may have a course on data table coming soon, so it's just so you'll know before everyone. Thank you, Samuel, for this problem. Thank you, Kira, for this session. We'll talk next week for another the phone of the week.
Awesome. Good luck, Samuel.